So next we look at convolution neural networks. Now, so what is the difference between MLP and CNN? Or the main question is, can we use MLPs for even for handling images? Actually, it's not a very good idea, because first of all, if you want to use MLP, what you will need to do is, this is a 2D data, you need to make it a 1D data, right? That is how MLP generally handle 1D data. So it's a 2D data, so it's like an image which is 224 cross 224 cross 3. So you make it a vector, which is a very, very long vector, which is of this many dimensions. And then if we use MLP, let's say the next layer, the next hidden layer has also so many neurons, then it will just blow up. For example, let's say this is like 120,000, right? 120,000 input nodes. Let's say you put another 120,000. So for example, let's say it is 100 for now, approximate, and say it is 100,000. And you put another 100, I mean the next layer is also 100,000. So how many connections you have? 100,000 cos 100,000. So it just becomes exponential. And so many parameters you cannot even store, forget about training. So basically images, we cannot use MLP for handling images, because it's a parameter explosion will happen. And also it doesn't exploit the local spatial information, because there is spatial information, right? Locally I can see the tiger and all, but if I make it a vector, then that spatial information is lost. So we should exploit, first of all, we should avoid this kind of parameter explosion, and the second thing, we should exploit the 2D nature of the data. And for that, the right thing to use is basically CNN, convolution. So 2D topology, and also we want to achieve invariance to translation, which comes with convolution. So these are the goals. So mostly, therefore, the convolution neural network is the right thing to use. And convolution neural network has these 4 characteristics. One is local connectivity, it doesn't do global. So MLPs does global, right? From each node, you have connection to every other node in the next layer. But here it is local connectivity, you don't have connection. Like you basically, for example, if you look at this, so this pixels in the blue box, only they will provide for the feature in this layer. So like that. So here one pixel in the next layer is made up of linear combination of a locality of pixels only, not the whole pixel. That's one that's one criteria, a characteristic. Then other is parameter sharing. When we do convolution, it's the same filter kernel. We'll come to that later. And then pooling, subsampling also use. We always, when we go from one layer to another, we generally reduce the size so that our receptive field can increase. That is the idea. And then we also use non-linearity, generally ReLU. Non-linearity is very useful. Otherwise, if you just do layer after layer without any non-linearity, that can be reduced to just one operation, one layer only. So there is no point in doing multi-layers if we are not having this non-linearity. So these are the 4 characteristics, and these are what we will look at in little bit more details. So first of all, CNNs are multi-layer, are basically a multi-layer neural network with but 2 constraints. So one is local connectivity, as we have said, it is locally connected, not all the pixels it need to see for getting the feature here. And the second thing is parameter sharing. This will see, like it's the same filter which will scan through the whole image. And the first thing is local connectivity. So local connectivity means that, for example, let's say you have a 7 node, right? This is a 7 input node, 7 and 3 output nodes. This is hidden layer with 3 nodes and input layer 7 nodes. Now, if I do MLP, multi-layer neural network, then each node is connected to every other node. So for example, if I look at this node, it is connected to all the 7 nodes. So how many multiplications do we need to obtain even one node? I basically need to have 7 multiplication, right? Because these are W1 into this, W2 into this node, W3 into, so 7 multiplications are needed. And since there are 3 nodes here, so 7 into 3. So many parameters also and so many multiplications also. Parameters comes from W1, right? This is connected through W1, W2 like that. So 7 parameters for just this node, and similarly for this and this, so there are 21 parameters. On the other hand, if we do local connectivity means these nodes are connected to only this node, these 3 nodes are connected to the middle, and the last 3 nodes are connected to the last. In that case, the number of parameters reduces, because we can see for this node there are only 3 nodes which are input, For this also 3, 3, so 9 parameters. And also runtime is also reduced by the same factor. Here number of multiplications is also 21 actually, 7, because to obtain this we need 7 multiplication, W1 into this, W2 into this, so 7 multiplications, and then there are 3, so it is 21. And here also multiplications are like same, it remains 9 only, because for this, for computing this, I need to do W1, W2, W3, which is 3 multiplications, 3 for this, 3 for this, so 9. So 9 parameters and 9 multiplications. So, but it is still much lesser than 21, right? So much of advantage in runtime and storage. So in general, for a level with M input and N output nodes and CNN local connectivity of K nodes, for example, this has a local connectivity of 3 nodes, then we can find for multi-layer neural network, the number of parameters is M cross N, like number of input nodes into number of output nodes. And runtime is also that, right? Runtime means the number of operation multiplications. For this one with local connectivity, so this is still multi-layer neural network, but with local connectivity, the number of parameters becomes K into N. K is the number of nodes, right? Number of nodes connected to this node. So K, and there are N output nodes. So K into N parameters, and the number of multiplications is also same. But you have much lesser operations or much lesser parameter to store. So this is one advantage. Then this is local connectivity. Then we further have parameter sharing. So we have this is the same thing. This is with local connectivity, and now parameter sharing means that for example, here the weights are W1, W2, W3. For the next node it is W4, W5, W6. But if you do parameter sharing, it is the same W1, W2, W3, and again the next node also sees the same parameter W1, W2, W3. This also sees the same parameter. So what happens is definitely we save on parameters. The number of parameters here is only 3. Here it is 9, here is 3. So we have even more storage efficiency. However, number of computation doesn't change. It remains 9 only. So, but these are some advantages. So basically, if we do multi-layer neural network with local connectivity and parameter sharing, then the number of parameters are only K. Runtimes remains the same as with local connectivity. But this is a huge advantage, and this is what is CNN. CNNs are doing this only. So it's basically nothing but a convolution, a filter. In convolution or filtering operation, we take one window and we slide it. Right, that same window, which is nothing but a kernel, weight kernel, then we slide it. So that, first of all, it is local connectivity, because let's say if I have a 3x3 kernel, so I have a local connectivity of 3x3. And secondly, I slide it, which means I keep the kernel same, but I'm just sliding and doing the operation. So which means that I'm doing sharing. So CNNs are nothing but multi-layer perceptrons with local connectivity and parameter sharing. Okay, and we can have CNNs with multiple input channels also, like this is an example of the single input channel, but we can have multiple channels also. For example, let's say if we take RGB image, there are 3 channels, right? In that case, when we do convolution, it's not just convolution with one channel, but we have to do with multiple channels. So my filter should take all these channels into account. For example, it has a local connectivity of 3, but it has to also look at channels, right? 3 from this for channel 1, 3 from channel 2. So actually it has 6 connections, if you can see. So actually this has 6 parameters. This has only 3 parameters. This has 6 parameters. So these are the filter weights. So easily we can extend this CNN concept to multi-channels and multi-input channels or multi-output channels also. Multi-output channels, it will be nothing but different feature maps. Like I basically have different filtering operation. For example, for map 1, I'm using this filter, this red, yellow and green filter, which represents some weights, and for the other map 2, I need to use another filter. So it is basically nothing but multi-layer is nothing but I am using multiple filters. Each layer has a different filter. That is what. So CNNs can be extended to that. And so this is a generic diagram or generic level of CNN. So we have this local connectivity input channels. And so what it is doing is, this is the kernel, it takes in all the input channels, but it is also locally connected, and then we produce one feature map, right? And in this particular output maps, it has also a number of channels, different number of channels, and we are getting this particular feature, right? and then we move it around and we get all the features in this particular layer, and if we use a different filter, I will get a different layer output. So that is how CNN works. So we'll quickly look at the different layers in the CNN architecture. So for example, these are the various layers that we encounter. One is convolution, which we already kind of discussed. Then the next thing you do is pass through some nonlinearity, for example, ReLU. Then you do pooling. Pooling means basically you take a 2x2 kernel, 2x2 locality and map it to 1 pixel. So 2x2 block maps to 1 pixel. This is for reducing the size. As you go deeper and deeper, we generally reduce the size. This increases the receptive field and also reduces the computation. So that's why we do pooling. And then these kind of are repeated, convolution, ReLU, pooling. And finally what you have is we flatten it, and then we have fully connected or MLP layer, and then we do softmax. So these are the various stages of CNN architecture. So mostly these convolution, ReLU and pooling are related to CNN, and these are mostly to classification, or these are related to multi-layer perceptron, I mean the fully connected layer. So convolution means this, right? So you have a kernel which is given by this, the weights 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, like that. You can see the one in the red, right, which is red. So that is the kernel, and what we do in convolution is we put this box like this kind of kernel at every window locality, and then do a weighted linear combination with the image, whatever, like the data is already there, right? The data is represented 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So that is the data, and then you put this kernel at a specific window location, and then we do weighted linear combination, and that is how we are getting this filtered output, a convol feature. Okay, so this is what convolution is doing. So it has this, so it reduces the number of weights through local connectivity, and also it is invariant, it provides spatial invariance through parameter sharing, because we are sharing the parameter. Let's say it is a face detector, so it doesn't matter where the face is, I will always detect it. So therefore it is called spatial invariance. That comes from parameter sharing. So these are the two important concepts. And there are hyperparameters also. For example, you can also zero pad your data or your image. So this is without any padding, so you're not doing any padding, and this is showing convolution. But you can also pad 0, like this is showing padding of 2x2 or 2, 2, which means that you're padding 2 zeros on the left hand side, on the right hand side, on the top and bottom, and then you're doing convolution. So this is to control the input size or output size. You can do padding, which is a hyperparameter. You can also do striding. So striding, for example, this is stride of 1, 1, which means you're shifting the window by 1 pixel to the right and 1 pixel to the down, like that. Here, with a stride of 2 means you're jumping over 1 pixel. So you're jumping, right? So here the window is here, then it jumps by 2 pixels, like that. Or you jump over 1 pixel. So that is what is stride. So this again will control the output size. It will make the output volume lesser. So all this subsampling, it will reduce the parameters. Reduce the feature map size and all those things. So this is also another hyperparameter, and you can of course combine both of them. You can also pad. For example, this is padding of 1, 1 and stride of 2. So your padding of 1, 1 means you're adding one layer of 0, and then you're striding by 2 pixel, or you're jumping over by 1 pixel. So that is what this is. And so this is about convolution. So pooling, as we have said, is to reduce the size. So generally what we do is max pool. So if we do max pooling with 2x2 filter and stride of 2, this is what it is shown. So 2x2 filter means we are looking at a 2x2 window. And then max pooling means I'm selecting the max, and that gets here, right? For example, 6. Then I jump, like jump by 2 pixel or jump over by 1 pixel, whatever it is. I will jump by 2 pixels, and then we come here and then again find the max, which is 8. Then this next thing is again we jump in the downward direction 2 pixels, and then we come here, come to this 2x2 block, and that max is 3, and then it is 4. Like that is how max pooling is operating. And of course the main size is it will reduce the spatial representation so that your receptive size will increase. And also there are other pooling also, L2 pooling, but max pooling is the more famous one. So this is pooling and convolution. Then we come to ReLU or non-linearity. So there is the earlier mostly it used to be sigmoid non-linearity. But it has this problem of vanishing gradient. For example, if I look at this region and this region, the gradient is 0. Because of that, it will be vanishing gradient and will not be able to update the weight. So this is not a non-linearity which is preferred nowadays. Rather, we have ReLU, which is nothing but rectified linear unit, which is nothing but if you have a positive output, then if you have a positive, positive input, then you keep it as it is. So 5 remains 5, for example. But anything negative, you set it to 0. So that is what this ReLU is. It's very simple. So this way it eliminates saturation and killing of gradient for positive inputs, because now there is no saturation. So in fact the gradient is 1 only. And this has accelerated convergence of stochastic gradient descent. This is observation from one of the papers, AlexNet. And it is better than sigmoid and tanh, which is also has expensive operation like exponential. This is nothing but this is a simple thresholding, right? A positive number as it is you pass, negative number is set to 0. So all of these advantages are there with ReLU. And so this is what we have looked at each of the component, and then this is more related to fully connected. So first of all, you flatten it. Like if you come to this stage in CNN, after that you flatten it and make one vector, then you have the fully connected, and then you have softmax. So vectorize it. So if you have a volume like this, just make it a vector, that is flattening. Then fully connected layer is multi-layer perceptron, and this is generally used for the final layer classifier. And then softmax is we are converting it to probability, because this x and this numbers could be real numbers, but we generally deal with probability of having one particular class, probability of having a tiger or versus cat, dog. So we need probability, and softmax is the way to convert this real numbers into probability. You can see that they will sum up to 1 and over all the classes, and each of the number is between 0 and 1, the way it has been constructed. So this is what overall CNN looks like, and this is like, this has been shown. Let's take this image, and then you have various filters. This is the first convolution layer, then you do ReLU, then again convolution, ReLU, pooling will reduce the size, like that. So this is one particular example that has been shown. So at the end you will get a probability. So most likely this is a car, right, with high probability. So this is more or less the example. This is how the CNN works. So this is what we covered today. So we first of all look at the goal of computer vision, which is basically to perceive as we do as humans. And then computer vision can have two basically tasks. We can do semantic information extraction like object recognition, object detection, or we can do it as a measurement device. We can find the depth, we can find the point cloud, all those things. Of course, there are various challenges, viewpoint, illumination, intra-object variance, all those things which we have looked at. And mostly what we have said in this course will focus on these 4 topics: object recognition, detection, depth from single image, and image preprocessing, which is like image processing. And of course, for all of them, we are going to look at CNN architectures, because for images, generally CNN is the preferred one. And what we have seen is CNN has advantage over MLP, or it is basically a specialized MLP with local connectivity and parameter sharing, which gives rise to efficient runtime and storage. And we also looked at various layers in the CNN, like convolution layers, ReLU, pooling, fully connected layers. So next we will look at, in the next class, we will look at the architectures, the different CNN architectures.